All summer long, Manchester United have seemingly been trying to close off a deal for Manuel Ugarte. However, in the past few days, it seems like the deal is now off, with United basically being priced out of a move, which leaves us in a spot of bother. We still need a ball-winning midfielder who can tick a lot of boxes and really complete our midfield, but we don't have much time left in the market. Fortunately, there's 3 players that I've been scouting ever since the Premier League season finished. I like these 3 options. I don't think any of them are perfect, but they're all definitely good options. So let's take a look. So first up, we have 25-year-old German midfielder Anton Stach, who for me is one of the best ground duelers anywhere in the world. He is simply brilliant, playing in the middle of the park. If we bring him in here, brilliant at playing in the middle of the park and disrupting opposition moves. The way that he uses his body, he gets himself across the opposition, using his massive frame to disrupt any player on the dribble. So if you are trying to dribble through the midfield, what Stach is going to do is approach you, engage in a duel, and then basically shove you away like you're a child. He makes it look very easy in these duels. He's bigger, he's stronger than pretty much everyone that he plays against in the middle, and his tackling technique is absolutely brilliant. He's also really strong with his duels in the air as well though, and that is because, again, he's massive. He ranked really well for his numbers in terms of aerial duel percentage last season. Again, aerially he dominates. Put him into any sort of battle, it can be on the floor or in the air, Stach is normally going to come out on top, and that makes him, of course, an excellent ball-winning midfielder. He can cover a lot of ground, although he isn't necessarily the quickest, but his ground coverage in general, I would say, is satisfactory for what United need in midfield, and he also has the ability to screen in front of the back 4. So when the opposition have perhaps sustained an attack, they're looking to pin you back into your own third, can Stach shuttle across, screen across, protect his centre-backs? He can. Of course he can. He's really good in this area. He reads to play well. He positions himself well. He doesn't get caught out. He doesn't dive in. He doesn't go too aggressive. He waits for the moment to strike before then making the tackle, making him a really good screening player in this area. But what I also like is that he does have the ability to drop into a back 5, which can be particularly handy. We know a lot of teams these days like to attack with a front 5. They like to get the ball wide and then look for crosses into the box. Having someone like Stach who can drop into this area, drop into the middle of the defence and stop us being overloaded in these areas is huge. Stach ticks pretty much every box we need off the ball. He's brilliant. On the ball is where the questions start to arrive a little bit more for Stach. This is not a first phase player. This is not a tempo setter, a rhythm setter for your team on the ball. That's not his game at all. In terms of in the first phase, he isn't the player to always drop deep and get the ball and receive on the turn or pass under pressure. That's not his game. If you watch him play for Hoffenheim, he'll actually often be ahead of the ball in these areas. He is not the one responsible for dropping deep. So that would perhaps be a concern, although perhaps United could get around it with someone like Kobbie Mainoo or a new role for Onana and therefore Lisandro Martinez. Something like that could work. In terms of in general on the ball, Stach is not elite, but he's good enough. Quite a safe passer, not overly progressive with his balls through the lines. He likes to keep it quite simple. One touch and then he's going to pass the ball laterally, sideways to a fullback, to a central midfielder. He is not the one to unlock a defence, unless it's with his long passing, because his long passing is incredible. Left foot, right foot, within 2 touches, he will nearly always find his target with a long pass. It's actually strange how good he is at this. Again, it could be off either foot, which is a huge weapon. United looking to be a team which wins the ball high and then quickly plays forward, Stach could be perfect for that. We've seen already that he likes to do that pressing play, that aggressive defensive work, and then once he gets the ball, within 2 touches, he can get it forward quickly to a winger, to a striker running in behind. That could work quite nicely. So overall, Stach definitely has some strengths. He could work for this United midfield. Would I expect him to come in and anchor down a position for the next 3 years? No, but perhaps in the short term for 1 season, before then becoming a squad player, it could work. I just quickly wanted to interrupt the video there to give a shout out to today's video sponsor, jerseyfifa.com, the home of affordable football kits. If you use the link in the description down below, you will find yourself a website which has all of the newest releases, home shirts, away shirts, and actually even old classic shirts as well. And if you don't actually want to wear the shirt yourself, I've heard they make a pretty good background display as well. So if you want to get yourself a shirt, use the link in the description and use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off your order. Go check it out. Another option that could work is 25-year-old Romanian midfielder Daniel Boloca, who currently plays for Sassuolo, who just got relegated in Serie A. Now you might think, why do you want a midfielder that just got relegated? He can't be that good. But to be honest, that logic is terrible. Terrible logic. Boloca is a very good footballer, ready for the move to the next big club. He's a quality player. He's a player which takes control and takes responsibility. Stach, we were looking at being a player that moves ahead of the ball. Boloca does not do that. Boloca wants the ball at his feet. The mental attributes are there. He is happy to take the pressure. He wants the ball in his first phase, and it works for him because he's unbelievably good in the first phase. This is one of the few press-resistant deep midfielders out there in the market at the moment, in my opinion. In terms of a player that can do the defensive work, but also be press-resistant in the first phase, Boloca is one of them. There aren't many. Boloca is one. His ability to turn in tight spaces is phenomenal. Almost unnatural for a player with a fairly big build. He turns incredibly well, and I love that. He's a player who wants to be a high-volume midfielder. Now, his numbers may not initially suggest that, but you've got to remember he played for a relegated side last season. His team was not dominant on the ball, so his numbers are always going to be deflated, if you like, because of that. In terms of the eye test, Boloca passes the eye test. He is phenomenal on the ball. First phase, ball protection work, brilliant. But his passing as well is really strong. Again, every pass in the locker. He can play at short range, medium range, or long range. Clipped balls over the opposition defence. He can go into the feet of a striker. Progressive passes. He can really do the lot on the ball. He can even carry it forward himself. You know, he's got good acceleration over the first couple of yards. So let's say he receives the ball, the opposition come towards him on his first touch. If he's able to get shoulder to shoulder, knock the ball ahead, he normally has that acceleration over the first 2, 3, 4 steps to get himself away. So on the ball, I think Boloca ticks every box. Unfortunately, the slight question marks come from defensively, only in the sense that, you know, he's not a 6'5" destroying midfielder, but he's still actually strong off the ball. Now, the reason why Boloca is still strong on the ball without being the biggest guy in the world is because of his reading of the game. His anticipation of where the ball is going to land is perfect for what you want in midfield. He can sense the danger, read the danger, kind of scoot across, decent mobility, get himself into position to kind of deal with it before it ever turns into something more dangerous. Boloca is really good at defending in this way. He can also defend 1 versus 1 as well, though. We can see it statistically last season. He done pretty well in this area. And he is strong in the 1 versus 1, using his body well, approaching the duel in the right way, before then getting strong into the tackle. This is not a weak player by any means. Like I've said already, my one concern out of possession would just be that he's not the biggest. And I do wonder with some of our players that we've got around, Kobe Mainu, Lissandro Martinez, Shaw, I wonder if we would need a bigger player. But if you're not too worried about a bigger player, Boloca could be perfect for what you want, because defensively he covers ground well enough, he is strong enough in the tackle, he reads the danger really well, but on the ball he's phenomenal. The press resistance that we've spoken about already, the passing range, he can do every pass and he's going to complete his passes. Not overly expansive, but safe, you know, secure. He's going to complete the passes that he attempts, and that's exactly what you need at the heart of your midfield. So again, I think Boloca is a phenomenal option. Another strong option is another 25-year-old, and it's the Spanish midfielder Pepelu, who currently plays for Valencia. Now, Pepelu is another player that I would label as a borderline elite dueler. He is so good in a 1 versus 1 situation. If you want the opposition to dribble at him, Pepelu is going to dominate them. He's going to destroy them, and he will take the ball off them 9 times out of 10. He's also really strong in the air as well. So if we're looking at teams perhaps bypassing United's high press, going long towards our back line, Pepelu is the ideal sort of player to sit in front of that defence and propel the ball back the other way with his heading ability. He jumps very well, he uses his body well to get himself above the opposition, and when you're over 6'2", you've naturally got an advantage anyway. So he's really strong in that way, and that's what I love about him. He does all the dirty work for his team. He's the sort of player that will go and do all the dirty work out of possession so that the other players don't have to so much. He covers ground well without being an elite ground eater, you know. We're not talking Amadou Onana or Declan Rice here, but still mobile enough. He covers the ground well enough, and when he does get there, he wins the battles. I really like his ability off the ball. Again, as a dueler, I think he's absolutely phenomenal, but he's also good on the ball as well. This is quite a complete player we're looking at here. In terms of Pepelu's work on the ball, we are looking at technical security above everything else. Not a player who is overly extravagant, but a player who isn't going to lose the ball in silly situations. He is capable of dropping deep and being this receiver in the first phase. Again, he's not that sort that is going to turn away from danger and be exciting to watch. No, he's not that sort of player. But passes under pressure, yes. Technical security, yes. The ability to take a good first touch and then protect the ball using his big size, yes. He's also got the passing range to go with it as well. Now again, Valencia are a side that didn't exactly dominate possession last season, so his numbers don't look too great. But I think we've got ourselves potentially a really good ball player here. I personally like his passing range. And what is particularly impressive in terms of a Ten Hag link, if you like, is how good he is at getting the ball forward quickly. In terms of winning the ball in midfield and then getting the ball forward within 3 or 4 seconds, Pepelu is one of the best in Europe at doing this. He is phenomenal at winning the ball in the middle of the park and then playing the pass. So normally if your team is controlled and sustaining possession, he's a fairly safe passer. You know, he's fairly safe on the ball in general. He's not really going to drive and carry the ball, although I think he has the physical frame to develop that. But generally speaking, he's going to keep it fairly safe. He's going to move the ball from side to side. I think he has the ability to become a metronomic midfielder. I don't think he's there right now, but he's going to move the ball well for you. But it's when you quickly win the ball and then want to play, that's when Pepelu comes to life. The ability, like I've said already, let's say your team is pressing high, you win it fairly high up the pitch, and then you quickly want to spring forward. You want to catch the opposition out of position as they are kind of transitioning between shapes, leaving lots of space for Rashford to attack, Højlund, Ahmad, Bruno Fernandes, Xerxes, Mason Mount, Garnacho. There's loads of them at the club. Pepelu's the ideal midfielder to find them because he's so good at playing this quick pass forward. Normally with his right foot, although he can use his left foot as well, he's really strong on the ball. And he's really close to what United need in midfield, in my opinion. He can do a lot of the defensive work, a lot of the screening work, the physical work, and then on the ball, safe, secure, high volume, I feel, but also progressive as well. So again, another really good option. Now, do I think any of these players will necessarily sign for Manchester United this summer? Probably not, but perhaps the purpose of this video more than anything was to point out the fact that those players are out there. You don't have to go and spend £70 million on a midfielder who you're a little bit uncertain on. There are midfielders out there in Europe right now who are much, much cheaper, like the 3 guys we've just spoken about, who would definitely upgrade and improve Manchester United's midfield. Sander Berge was someone that we spoke about yesterday as well. He is another one who, you know, isn't a big name, but would improve this United side. The options are out there. Ineos, the scouts, Manchester United, have to go find them and then sign them pretty quickly because we do need a ball-winning midfielder, desperately. These are 3 options that I really like. Let me know some options you like in the comments down below. Perhaps there's some players you want me to look at in the future. If there is, do let me know. But apart from that, we're finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.